Again is terrorism analyst Matthew Graham. Matt, thanks for joining us. You know, we've been hearing some calls for Article 5 of NATO to be invoked. Hillary Clinton actually has said that she has been calling for NATO to be modernized. Article 5 essentially is the collective defense. Essentially, one country being attacked calls for the collective defense, all countries in NATO to come in and assist. What are your thoughts now on the modernization of NATO and how this could potentially help prevent this type of attack when at this point we don't even know who this perpetrator really was?
Well, we don't know who he was directly, but we know indirectly what he believed in. And so the idea that if we can have a war on drugs, it seems fairly simple that we could have a war on terror and really make a declaration of war, whether as a standalone United States or as part of NATO, on what's going on here. And I think that that gives us the ability to really attack the core of what's going on. Go after the money, go after the material, go after the leadership, regardless of what role they play. If you have a hand in this, then you're going to be targeted.
And of course, just to clarify, many of us who serve in the military serve in the global war on terror. You're actually calling for this to be declared, for war to be declared by Congress?
Absolutely. And I think that loosens gives us a broader scope of what we're able to do. You know, a couple of months ago, that little boy fell into the ape enclosure, and the only thing that could happen was you put the ape down. And that's kind of where we are. At some point here, we need to kill the ape.
Matt, I wanted to ask you, we just got breaking news that this 31-year-old French-Tunisian man who reportedly was driving this unmarked truck through the crowd, killing 84, that now authorities are searching his home. What are they looking for? How long will they search for?
They'll search as long as it takes to find the answers that they need about money, material, leadership, support, what tangible and intangible things drove him to do this, whether it's inspired or directed. And again, a formal declaration of war would be able to cover all of those bases.
Now, a formal declaration of war, would that assist in being able, in governments like ours, being able to look at what people are doing online, if they're being inspired, or if they're looking for ways to commit attacks, if they're reading things like Al-Qaeda's Inspire magazine, or what would a declaration of war really do?
I think what a declaration of war does is it answers the fact that they've declared war on us decades ago. So it kind of gives us the ability to sit at the table fully and bring to bear every aspect of what we can do, whether that is, as you exploit intelligence, whether it's human, whether it's electronic, whether it's signal, it's literally legitimizing what's going on. The only people that haven't accepted that we're in a formal war is the leadership and the government.
There have been no claims yet of responsibility so far for this horrific attack. Catherine Herridge of Fox News suggests it could be Al-Qaeda rather than ISIS. But again, this is unconfirmed. We're continuing to follow it. In the meantime, security is being beefed up around the globe. How will they do that when these are all soft targets? Everything is a target, from a movie theater, shopping mall, to a school, to a Bastille Day gathering.
Well, again, it's one of those things that you have to target the core belief system. And in doing that, you're right, you can't harden every target, because all that's going to happen when you make those concentric rings of security is you'll just stand outside those rings. Like in France, we'll use cafes in the street, or they'll use the grocery store attack. And it just continues to be that we need to eradicate the core belief system of what is driving, either directed or inspired, these attacks. And a formal declaration of war allows both the overt and covert aspect of our response to be loosed.
So you talked about exploiting human intelligence, exploiting electric intelligence that comes from people's use of phones and the internet. I know from my experience working as a human intelligence operator, it's very difficult to get that kind of information, but there's a lot of information on people's phones, who they're connected with, what they're looking at on the internet. And right now in this country, we have a big discussion going on, privacy versus security. What say you to the issue of privacy versus security and trying to protect people when information is right there on their phones? It's right there on the internet oftentimes.
But as you're also seeing in exploiting that human intelligence, those individuals are not using those means to communicate. What it is it's literally that choice, that internal piece that someone chooses to then act upon. So how then do we police and or fight a threat that is driven from the inside belief system when they're not using, or we're not able to cultivate the metadata? We go back to making it untenable for them to believe a certain way.
All right. Well, thank you to terrorism analyst Matthew Graham.